I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce some melodic ideas for you to practice. As bass players, normally we'll play the root of a chord when we're soloing or when we're comping, which is usual, of course, for a bassist to do. And I'd like to change the solo concept at this moment. Instead of always starting on a root, for example, in a B-flat 7 blues, bassists usually will start on the root. Most bass players do. What I'd like to propose are some exercises that would be able to offer you other melodic possibilities. So on this B-flat 7 blues, which is a bar of B-flat 7, a bar of E-flat 7, 2 bars of B-flat 7, a bar of E-flat 7, another bar, B-flat 7, G7, C7, F7, and then 2 beats apiece, B-flat, G7, C7, and F7. And then we're back at the top. In this form, Richard Drexler on piano and I are going to play, and I'm going to solo, and I'm going to play the 3rd and the 7th of each chord. In this case, I'm going to start out on a D and an A flat on the B-flat 7 of the chord. And then you will accordingly, on each subsequent chord of the B-flat 7 blues, you'll solo on any 3rd and any 7th in the chord. And I'd like to give an example of that right now. So we'll do it like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something at the end. I like to give you a couple of other notes in order to practice something special, and what I'll do at this time is I want to do it on the 9, which is, in this case in B-flat, it'll be the C, which is the 9th, and the 5th. So the 2 notes you're going to play are actually going to be the 9th and the 5th on each of these chords. So let's do a blues there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'd like to demonstrate a B-flat blues where I'll be playing the 9s and the 11s. In this case, it'll be starting out with the C on a B-flat 7 chord and playing the E, which is the sharp 11 of the chord. And the chords will change accordingly, so the tension usage here, the 9s and the 11s will also change. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, Now I want to do something where I want to play a chord tone solo for everybody, which is now going to be on the blues, and it's going to be based on root, third, fifth, and seventh. By doing this, you can cover a lot of sound as a bassist, as a soloist, pretty well kind of starting to now participate, I would say, in the piano area of soloing or guitar area, in that the pianist, generally speaking as a solo instrument, as a melodic player, will deal in chords, you know, in chord substitutions and chordal playing, more than scales often. Chords are usually more interpreted by melodic musicians, let's say, than a scale might, because a chord defines the tonality and a scale sort of alludes to it. So I'm going to do a chord tone solo, 1, 3, 5, 7, and I want you to hear this and see if you can't notice the way that the bass now fits into a piano or a guitar-oriented area as a solo instrument. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that puts a very strong emphasis on the tonality for us, where we can start to make sounds, and I can do this and not have a piano player here, and just play it as a solo, and you can hear that the bass player can really represent the chord and the tonality all by himself. And I can play this. And there's a strength there, and I would even do chord substitutions, which changes the chordal element of my bass playing a little bit, but it makes it strong because of the fact that I'm defining the chord sound so strongly. 1, 3, 5, 7 is a great, let's say, sequence of notes for bass players to work on. Now there's another sequence, and again, we're in a DVD situation here, so there's maybe a couple of billion lessons that I personally know and have at the Players School of Music and under my belt, things that I practice and things that I work on. But for the sake of this, I'm going to give you a few ideas and try to, let's say, anticipate the people and their level and your level of bass playing that might get something beneficial out of this. So I'm going to now demonstrate a triad beginning on the 9, sharp 11, and 13 of the B-flat blues that I described earlier. So Richard will play a straight blues in the way that we were doing it, and I'll only play the 9, 11, and 13 of each chord. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, like so. And it's a powerful sound, And the neat thing about it for a bass player is sometimes I will add other notes that are not part of that. I'm trying my best not to, but the reason why I might sometimes do it is because it's an exercise requiring a specific interpretation. That's the hard part about academic music, is that you have to take the time to specifically learn a specific lesson. Specifically, you have to interpret the exact elements of these notes that you're playing, and learn them for the meaning that they have. And as an academic element, this is hard to do. That's why I believe that the academically trained musician knows a lot more and can play a lot more than many non-trained musicians, because of the fact that they're dealing in non-familiar and unusual elements of music on a regular basis. Before I continue, I want to add one little thought, and the thought that I want to add is there is a difference between academia and art, which I'll explain later in this video. Right now I want to do another exercise based on the blues, where I'm going to combine the 4 chord tones and the 9, sharp 11, and 13, or 9, 11, 13, in a series as an exercise to show you how amazing this sound is. It will be an exercise, so I can't artistically perform this because it is so specific, but it is interesting to the ear that a bass player will play this and represent this tonality. So here we are with 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice sound, and it's hard to do because of the fact that I have to deal with every note, which musically speaking is not probably a pleasant thing to do. Again, I emphasize the difference between art, which means that everything is permitted, and academia, which means that little is permitted outside of the lesson you do. There is a neat thing that I'll do now without Richard, and what it is I'll take this exercise and show you a way to make that even further more involved as a bassist. A lot of this stuff might be hard for some of you guys. If it is, the steps of music that you would take before this are important. You want to deal in music lessons, music teachers, music schools, music events, whereby music and notes and elements of that are going to keep you to getting better and rising as a bassist on pretty much a weekly, bi-monthly, monthly level. You get better in little tiny pieces. Musicians do not get better in huge chunks. That's a bit of a myth. You get better in the smallest increments of improvement. That's the steady step of improvement of a musician. So one of the things I want to offer you is when you are playing 1, 3, 5, 7 in this exercise, 9, sharp, 11, and 13, do them in inversions, where now you begin on a third and end up on the root. Starting on the fifth and ending up on the third. Starting on the flat 7, starting on the 9, starting on the sharp 11, and finally starting on the 13. And these exercises are challenging and absolutely needing of you to practice them without a metronome. You must not use a metronome when you're practicing any of these elements, because time is not the issue. It's the pitch and the subdivided time interpretation that you make. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I can be very pulling on that time, but I need that time to think of these notes. This is not something that lays under the hand of a bass player. In fact, most good music, and I always use the word good to emphasize unique and meaningfully organized music studies. You get these music studies that are organized for us in order to enlighten us and to help us rise as musicians, to become better as musicians. And I don't know of a musician in the world whereby a musician who has a new exercise has to play that exercise quickly, rapidly, at the beginning whatsoever. It's a complete myth. Time is not necessary when dissecting new music. Time is used when you subdivide in a way where you'll play a bass line or something that you don't know very well, and you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because you don't have to play this until you learn it. That's the idea about learning. You must have the time to dissect the information and make it a part of you. That's what all musicians and students do. So try this full neck and try them in the inversions. And these things are going to be very enlightening, a bit challenging to some. It's challenging to me because it's not usual bass type playing, and I look for music that is going to give me some new perspective so that maybe I can play in ways that are kind of enlightening for me. Now I'll play a blues with Richard, and I'll try to be in a more relaxed sort of improvising manner in order to give you my interpretation of a blues using some of these elements, I would say, in a more musical manner. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and...